Hi everyone, my name is Jane Hawkey and I'm a senior science communicator at Ian. I'm going to spend a little time with you to talk about creating and delivering effective and information-rich presentations. So we're going to look at various techniques to make your presentation stand out from the crowd. First, we will look at ways to create a visually appealing and informative presentation. Then we'll review tips for giving a great presentation. The first question to ask yourself is, who is your audience? Who will be viewing this presentation? Will it be the general public? In which case you may need to simplify terms but not the content. Skip the jargon and acronyms. Will the audience be made up of legislators? Will they understand scientific terminology? Will the audience be the media? You may want to get advice from your media people, especially if talking on something controversial. Modify your presentation accordingly. Start by creating an outline. This will be your framework for developing a story. From the outline, fill in your story with key messages. Make the slide titles active by using verbs to convey more information. Note the difference between the slide on the left with the title Methods and the slide on the right with the title Seagrass and Sediment Characteristics were recorded. So before we move on to actually creating your slides, consider this summary of steps to prepare your presentation. Ask yourself who your audience is and what you want the audience to remember. Plan 3 to 5 key points, no more. This will help keep your audience's attention. Start with an outline that will provide a framework for you to keep to your main themes. Plan 1 minute per slide and stick with it. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them, going in a full circle. Once you have this framework for your presentation, you can begin to set up the slides. In PowerPoint, use the Slide Master function. It will provide a consistent layout, font style, and color palette. Having this standard look on all your slides allows the audience to keep their attention and focus on your key messages. You don't want to make it hard for your audience to view your slides or understand your message, so here are some do's and don'ts. Dark backgrounds with light text tend to tire the eyes, as shown here in the black box. Stick with a white background. Pick your fonts carefully. The example in the black box makes it clear why sans serif fonts shown on the slide are generally more readable from a distance. Slide transitions were fun to play with when they first came out, but don't make your audience dizzy with them. As you learned in the photography module, use software such as Photoshop to avoid fuzzy, pixelated photographs. A default Microsoft Excel graph, as shown at the top right here, has distracting boxes and grid lines. The colors don't mean anything. This is called chart junk. Use software such as Adobe Illustrator to import your Excel graph and clean up. Add information such as clear legends and labels, as shown in the example below it. Dedicate some time in Illustrator to make your good map into a great map. Use color, labels, and a legend and distance scale. When it makes sense, use animation to guide, not distract your audience. Here's an example of an effective animation. The expansion of the algal bloom is quite dramatic. Everyone loves movies. Videos are great for capturing action in the lab or in the field. Edit your video to make it short and to the point. Also, it's a good idea to double-check that the video plays as planned. You don't want that sort of problem cropping up in the middle of your talk. So let's review some tips for the actual delivery of your presentation. Practice, practice, practice. Go through your slides, rehearse what you want to say, and even how you transition from one slide to the next. You might find you need to change wording to keep the flow. At the location of your talk, make sure your computer and projector settings show the whole screen with nothing cut off or distorted. Check the focus. Does your video play correctly? Do you need a laser pointer? Don't panic. Make eye contact with any smiling face in the audience and introduce yourself. It will help break the ice and make you feel more comfortable. We all have a tendency to talk fast when we are nervous. Instead, remember to breathe, swallow, and speak slowly and clearly. Use the slide text to remind you of the key points and provide the audience with information. But don't use the text to replace the need for you to talk. Anticipate questions. You can even place a few slides at the end of your talk with additional details for discussion. Understand the weaknesses of your work. "I don't know" is an acceptable answer, but then follow up with what you do know that is relevant. And get excited. Share your passion and have some fun. So in summary, here are some key points to remember. Invest the time required to make an effective presentation. Aim to impart a few key points. Use active titles and information-rich graphics. Rehearse and go prepared. Thank you for spending some time with me.